Hi everyone, my name is Amir Kazemlu, and through this series of videos, I'm gonna talk about Fluent Python with you. I'm actually learning the Python with you. I have a few years of experience with Python, but I'm not consider myself as an expert in a Python. So there could be any mistakes in the codes and actually mentioning the notes or hints or any informations that I conveyed during the course. So inform me if you find one, and I would try to uh, amend them in the videos, or I could make a caption for more clarification. So another things that I should mention, which you could understand till now, maybe I'm not a fluent English speakers, so there could be any typo or misspelling during the my speaking, my writings, and through this course. So if there is any grammatical problem or mistakes, inform me. Otherwise, you overlook the others' mistakes. So let's delve into the Python and these books. Before that, we should set our environment, which I would talk about in the following. So for having the Python in your computer, you need to download the Python. It is available in Python.org download. There are different releases in here. So let me show the releases, and there are different release version. I use Python 3.12.9, the latest version of the 3.12 version. So you come here and download Windows with this installer. If you are in a Linux, you should install it through the apt package managers, or you could download the Debian files. I believe it's available in a Ubuntu. I have tried this. Python is available by default, but if it isn't available, you could download and install it through the Debian files and the package utility or apt utility. So we start to download this one. I would show you the result in here. So as you could see, the Python have been installed in my computer, so I don't need to install it. But if you haven't installed Python, there would be a checkbox here to add the Python inside your environment path. And if you don't click the checkbox, come here and write environment. And the environment would be open. Here in environment settings, come to the user variable for your username, of course, and here click to the path, and you would be in a path editing environment variable. Add the new one, and you could add these paths that I am provide here to here and copy and paste them, but consider that your username should be changed to the your username and not my username that is mentioned here. Then use the move up button to take your take your Python priority upper and make them to the higher Python priority. As you could see, I have a different version of the Python, but because I make the priority of the Python 3.12, which is 3.12 versions higher than the others. When I type the Python in a CLI, it would open this one. But if I just make this moved up and this one moved up, I could have a Python 3.9, but I don't want this right now. So I move these two down, and after that, okay, 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 and cancel, yes. So your Python is set. And you could have a Python through this, right? Python dash dash version. You would have your Python version, and by Python itself, you could access the Python repo. If you don't know the REPL is actually the simple place that you could run the code line by line. For example, imagine that I write hello world and there would be the result here. So if you want to get out the Python REPL, just simply write quit and then you could get out the Python. In continue to this video, I want you to get familiar with Visual Studio Code. This is where you could write your code, edit your code easily. We get to it right now, but before you start coding with it, you should need to download it and install it. You could easily install it with some pushing to next button and have the x64, I think, is best option for most user. You could also use the .deb package of it and .rpm for Red Hat, CentOS, and Fedora users. You could have it in Mac, or you could use Brew Package Manager to install it. Also, during this course, you would need a virtual environment. So what is virtual environment? Actually, virtual environment is a separated environment in your Python. For example, you have some packages which would affect each other, or you want to have a smaller package manager and the packages don't get messed up with each other, and you want to have a cleaner environment. So you make a separated environment for your specific project and install libraries on that environment in order to have an environment which is specified for that project. For that, you should have Python VM install. For installing the Python packages, we usually use a pip. So we use pip install VM, install virtual environments, and after that, I have actually did so. So it said no matching environment. I think there was an environment for pip install VM. Let's see, virtual VM. You could use this code to have a virtual environment install in your computer. So as you could see, for installing the virtual environment, you should use this command, and I would run it. It would download the package, as you could see in the following. After that, it would install that package. Because my internet is not very good, so I stop it by Control C, and I also have downloaded this and installed before. After that, you could use python-m VM, the folder that you want to your VM be there. For example, my VM would be good name, and let's it to create it. As you could see, the folder is creating in here, and if I go inside them, I could see there is some folders created there. So I go to the latest PowerShell that I have made, and as you could see, the creating the VM is complete in a fast manner. So in a Windows, you could use here to see the folders there. Go to my VM. You could see there is a script folder there. So you cd to script. You could see there is a activate file here. So I make it activate easily by activate for, but notice you should use dot slash to make the PowerShell understand that this is not a comment, but this is actually the file calling. activate, and it's say we want to this, yes, and we are in a my VM. This is a very specified Python for our project. Through this course, we use this Python VM to have our VM available and our package be available too. So right now I want to set the environment inside the VS Code. If you have installed VS Code by only searching VS Code in your search bar, you could have access to the VS Code. Another way to use VS Code is to use CLI, for example, in a path that you want to have a as you could see, I'm in a CLI, so I only write VS and write the right V code dot, and the VS Code would be open for me. As you could see, this is the same folders that I run the code dot, which is tests my VM. So right now I want to set the virtual environment inside the VS Code. For that purpose, you should use the Control Shift P and then select the Python selector, select the environment, and enter the Python interpreter and use the find. And in here, the path that's my VM is located. Go to the script and find the Python, and then the Python of that virtual environment is set. So to have access to the terminal in here, terminal would be open and use the pip freeze to see the Python packages available on that virtual environment. If I write pip freeze, it would show lots of packages. That's because I have installed Python Jupyter Notebook in here, and all of these packages are installed through that one line command, which is this one. Jupyter pip install Jupyter Notebooks. All of these packages are installed by that command. You simply insert this one and all of them will be installed there. As you could understand, I would provide some GitHub repository to you that I would located the code that I would talk about through the videos that I share with you. So in that code, we would talk more about the codes that mentions in the books. So let's make an example of the how Jupyter Notebooks works. There is a IPython, actually, as you could see, IPyNB, IPython notebook. So when you click this one, the result would be shown. Actually, there is no result for it, but in here, for example, the output would be the print of this one, print of this one, and print of this one. There would be a len also, print of this one. So we could have a separated block of the codes in a Jupyter Notebook. So this is all the code that's all the basic informations about the setting environment that I could provide for you. Through the continuing video, I would talk more about the books. We would read the books together, and also let me go to the book. Let me have an introduction to the books, and from the next session, we would talk more about the book chapters itself. As you could see at the beginning, it said, don't waste your time bending Python to fit the pattern you have learned in another language. It's actually mentioned that the Python have got the Pythonic language, so it is hard to bend it to the other language, and it has a very, very actually superficial um, differences, but it may be looked more deep and some kind of strange for users of other programming language. So let's go to the table of the contents. In the first chapter, we would encounter with a Python data model. I think it is very intimidating for starting, but it is good to understand why Python may look strange for you. After that, we would talk about array of sequence, lists, tuples, arrays, and those stuffs. About the slicing, we would talk more, and about the sorting and sorted built-in. This is very interesting subjects. We would talk about the dictionaries and sets, and we would understand how they work. We know that the hash table is behind them. Uh, as you could see, what is hash tables? Hash table in here, but this is a hash table behind them. And we go to the Unicode text versus bytes, and after that, data class builder. Object references, mutability, and recycling is the next chapter. The functions and first class object. We come to the part two of the books. Actually, first part we mostly talk data structures in Python, and in the second one we talk about the function, decorator, and closure. Actually, um, decorator is the @ sign, something like beautifier before the function definition. For example, imagine that is function definitions. I say function name, and you have your code in below. So this is the beautifier, which this is a decoder which gets the functions as input and make changes to it. So we would get familiar with design pattern and first class function. At the third part, we get familiar with class and protocols. Actually, the Python object, some inheritance concept, special method for sequences, interfaces, protocol, and ABCs, abstract-based classes. And then the inheritance concept, which is very important for object orientation. More about the type hint, operations overloading. This is very interesting part. We get a little familiar um, in the first chapter of the book. Control flow is the most important, I believe, or side with synchronizations. Control concurrency and concurrent, which is the flow control. Yes, everyone in these days should be familiar with. I also may have read another books for this concept, and the metaprogramming is another part, which include the attribute description, descriptor, and dynamic attribute and properties. Class metaprogramming, and afterward we have got afterword and indexes. So in a preface, I would not very delve into this part. So let's keep the most of it. Who this book is for, I believe that you should have some Python experiment to understand this book properly. And 5 book in one, organizations of the book, hand-on approach. It's also mentioned REPL here that I mentioned it in the beginning of the videos about the Python REPL, read, evaluate, print, and loop. And soapbox for that, my personal perspective, it's not very important here. These are the sign of the hints which we would encounter through the books. One of them is for tip or suggestion, general note, and caveat for this one. And actually the publisher of the book and acknowledgements. Let's move on through these ones, and yeah, first part of the books, its data structure, and first chapter is Python data model. I would talk about these chapters in a separated video so you could understand it in a separated context. So for the next video, we would talk about the Python data model.